Imagine climbing a mountain. The air grows thinner, the climb harder, the resistance greater. Most turn back there. But that struggle is the sign you are near the summit. Life works the same way. The signs of success are not always pleasant, but they are proof that you are close to the reward. In this video, I want to reveal the unmistakable signs that life gives you when success is near. You'll learn why struggle often means you're closer than ever, why challenges are not punishments but preparation, and why small shifts in attitude and opportunity signal the reward ahead. If you've ever felt like giving up, this message will show you why that feeling itself may be the greatest sign that you must persist. By the end of this, you'll be able to recognize the signs that your persistence is about to pay off, and you'll have the mindset to keep going until life hands you the reward you've earned. Think about how often people give up too soon. They study for weeks, then quit just before they would have understood. They work for years, then stop just before the door was about to open. They misread the signs. They see struggle, resistance, or boredom, and they call it failure. In reality, these are the signals life sends when you're close. The test before the triumph. The last obstacle before the opening. Once you learn to recognize this pattern, you'll stop fearing the struggle and start welcoming it because you'll know what it really means. Why? Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to uncover the 5 great signs that appear when life is about to reward you. We'll begin with the struggles and obstacles. Why the hardest days often mean the reward is near. Then we'll look at changes in your own attitude, subtle shifts that reveal growth is taking place. Next, we'll talk about opportunities, how they begin to appear once your mind is ready to see them. After that, we'll explore resistance from others and why. Opposition often proves you're on the right track. And finally, we'll examine the inner calm that comes when you've aligned with a worthy ideal, the surest sign of all. Along the way, I'll share stories, examples, and principles that will help you recognize these signals in your own life, so you never again mistake progress for failure. And before we finish, I'll open a door to an even deeper law, one that explains why life rewards persistence in the first place. Here's something most people completely miss. Life often becomes the hardest just before it becomes the best. The resistance grows strongest not when you are far from success, but when you are closest to it. And this is why so many give up too soon. They mistake the pressure for failure, when in reality it is the surest sign that the reward is near. Think of the bamboo tree. For years after it is planted, nothing appears above the ground. The farmer waters it daily, tends the soil faithfully, but to the casual eye there is no growth. Many would quit, believing their effort wasted. Yet beneath the surface, the roots are spreading wide and deep, preparing to sustain what is to come. And then, in a single season, the bamboo shoots upward, growing feet in a matter of weeks, towering into the sky. What looked like years of failure was in truth years of preparation. And so it is with your life. When the reward is near, the pressure intensifies, because life is preparing you to sustain what you are about to receive. Now, why does this matter? Because if you don't understand this law, you will quit at the very moment you should persist. You'll see obstacles, difficulties, setbacks, and imagine they are signals to stop, when in fact they are signals to continue. The weight you feel, the resistance you face, is proof that growth is happening, that the roots are spreading, that something is being prepared beneath the surface. Without that resistance, you would not be ready. With it, you are being shaped into the kind of person who can handle the reward. Let me give you another picture. In The Strangest Secret, I once spoke of 100 men, all setting out at 25, believing they will succeed. They all work, they all labor, they all put in effort. But by 65, only 5 are successful. What happened to the other 95? They gave up under pressure. They mistook the struggle as failure, when in truth, if they had pressed on a little longer, the reward would have been theirs. It is not talent that separates the 5 from the 95. It is not luck. It is persistence under pressure. The 95 surrendered when the bamboo was still underground. The 5 endured until it broke the surface. So let me ask you, have you been feeling pressure lately? Have the difficulties increased, the challenges multiplied, the weight grown heavier? If so, don't mistake it for failure. It may be the very proof that life is about to reward you. The pressure is not punishment, it is preparation. It is life's way of saying, stay the course. You are almost there. And that's powerful enough on its own. But combine it with what I'm about to show you next, the test of persistence, and you'll understand why life often asks us to prove ourselves one last time before it entrusts us with success. Now here's something that may sound almost cruel at first, yet it is one of the great laws of life. Just before life is ready to hand you the reward, it will test you. It will place obstacles in your path, it will slow your progress, it will weigh down your shoulders, and it will whisper in your ear that perhaps it isn't worth it after all. And why does it do this? To see if you are ready, to see if you truly want what you say you want, to see if you can endure long enough to hold and keep the reward once it arrives. The test of persistence comes to everyone. It is not a punishment. It is a question life asks of each of us. Will you continue when the feeling is gone, when the road is long, when the excitement has faded? Your answer to that question determines whether the reward will be yours. Think of the marathon runner. At the starting line, the crowd cheers, the excitement is high, and the runner feels strong. But the real test doesn't come in the first mile. It doesn't even come in the middle miles. It comes near the end, when the legs are weak, the lungs are burning, and every part of the body begs for rest. That's when the runner must decide whether to continue or quit. And here's the great irony: the finish line is closer than he thinks. If he pushes through the pain, the reward is moments away. If he gives in, he will never see it. And this is exactly how life works. The hardest test often comes when the reward is nearest. This is why I created the 30-day test in The Strangest Secret. I told listeners, for 30 days, take one clear goal and hold it in your mind. Refuse to let negative thoughts take root. Replace every doubt with the image of your goal already achieved. At first it seems easy, but then the test begins. The days grow long. Doubts creep in. Distractions multiply. Old habits try to return. Many people fail, not because the principle doesn't work, but because they give up before the 30 days are complete. They fail the test of persistence. But those who endure, those who hold the thought day after day until the final day, find themselves transformed. They discover that the reward was waiting just beyond the test. Now, why does life do this? Because persistence is the surest proof of desire. Anyone can act with enthusiasm at the start. Anyone can persist while the sun is shining and the road is smooth. But life wants to know if you will persist when the clouds gather, when the path is steep, when the reward is still unseen. Only then can it entrust you with success. Because without persistence, even if the reward were given, it would not last. A man who quits easily cannot hold on to wealth, cannot hold on to achievement, cannot hold on to freedom. But a man who has proven persistence can. He has earned the strength to keep what he has gained. So the next time life seems to grow harder, the next time the weight increases, the next time the test appears, don't see it as a reason to quit. See it as the sign that you are close. See it as life's way of asking, do you truly want this? Will you persist until the end? And if your answer is yes, if you keep going when others stop, if you endure when others give in, then you will reach the finish line and find the reward waiting for you. And that's the lesson of persistence. It is the final mile, the last push, the test that separates the 95 who quit from the 5 who succeed. And once you understand that, you'll never again mistake difficulty for defeat. You'll see it for what it really is, the clearest sign that the reward is near. Here's something most people never realize. Success always begins within, long before it shows itself without. The signs that life is preparing to reward you do not first appear in your bank account, or in applause, or in the recognition of others. They appear quietly, invisibly, in the hidden corners of your own mind. Long before circumstances change, your thoughts begin to change. Long before the outer world reflects progress, the inner world is being transformed. And if you've begun to notice this shift within yourself, it is one of the surest signals that life is preparing something new for you. Think of the farmer tending his soil. For weeks after planting, there is no visible growth. He waters, he weeds, he works the field, yet to the casual eye the land looks barren. But beneath the surface life is stirring. Roots are reaching, seeds are splitting, growth is happening unseen. The harvest begins in silence. And then, one morning, the first tender shoots break the ground, and everyone can see what the farmer already knew: growth was happening all along. The same is true for us. When life is about to reward you, you will first notice the roots of change spreading in your thinking. Your thoughts become clearer, more disciplined, more confident. Doubt begins to lose its grip. Fear no longer commands the same authority. You feel a calm conviction that may not yet be visible to others, but it is real, and it is the beginning of your harvest. Now, why does this matter? Because most people expect outer change before they allow inner change. They say, "I'll believe when I see." But life works by a different law. You will see when you believe. You will reap after you sow, never before. The first harvest is always in the mind, and this is where so many miss it. They look at their circumstances and declare failure, not realizing that success has already begun, quietly, invisibly, in the way they think. If only they could recognize that shift as the sign it is, they would persist long enough to see it manifest outwardly. I've seen this countless times. A man who once doubted himself begins to notice new clarity in his vision. A woman who once wavered begins to act with steadier confidence. A worker who once drifted begins to work with purpose, even before the promotion comes. These inner shifts are the surest proof that success is near, because no outer change is possible without them. Life rewards thought before it rewards circumstance. When your thinking changes, your world is already beginning to change. So let me ask you, have you noticed your thoughts growing more ordered? Have you found yourself thinking less about fear and more about possibility? Have you begun to sense a new, calm confidence, even if nothing outward has shifted yet? If so, that is not imagination. That is not accident. That is a sign. It means you are aligning yourself with the laws of success. It means life is preparing to reward you. Trust it. Persist with it, because once the mind has changed, the outer world must eventually follow. This is the hidden law. Success appears first in the invisible world of thought. If you can recognize that change in yourself, then you can be certain the visible reward is on its way. There is another unmistakable sign that life is preparing to reward you, and it is this: the shift from mere desire to determination. At the beginning of any journey, most people operate on desire. They wish for success, they talk about it, they dream of it. Desire is important, it lights the spark. But desire alone is not enough, for desire fades. A man may desire to be wealthy, yet if he does nothing, he remains poor. A woman may desire to be strong, yet if she never trains, she remains weak. Desire without action is nothing more than a passing fancy. But when desire transforms into determination, the entire picture changes. Determination is desire armed with will. It no longer asks, "Can this be done?" It declares, "It will be done, and I will do it." Think of the archer. At first, he may shoot arrows aimlessly into the air, wishing they would land on some target. He desires to succeed, but his eyes are unfocused, his effort wasted. Then one day, he fixes his eyes on the bullseye. He narrows his aim, steadies his hand, and directs every shot with purpose. In that moment, his desire has become determination. The wish has become will, and from that moment on, every arrow he looses carries him closer to mastery. This is how life works. When your longing shifts into resolve, when you no longer talk of if, but only of how, you can be sure that the reward is already moving toward you. Why is this shift so important? Because life does not reward vague wishes, it rewards deliberate effort. The world does not bend to idle longing, it bends to steady, disciplined action. And the moment you feel that shift within yourself, when you are no longer content to wish, but compelled to act, you can be certain that success is already germinating beneath the surface. That determination is the seed of all achievement. Without it, even the strongest desire dies unfulfilled. With it, even the smallest beginning grows into something great. I've seen this countless times. Indirect line, I told the story of a salesman who once chased quick wins, always hoping for an easy sale, always wishing success would fall into his lap. He lived on desire, but he lacked discipline. His results were uneven, his progress slow. Then something changed. He set his mind on becoming the best in his field. He no longer asked whether he could, he simply decided he would. He began to work with steady purpose, day after day, refining his craft, serving his clients, and in time, his results surpassed everyone else's. What changed? Not his desire, he had always wanted success. What changed was his determination. He replaced wishful thinking with unwavering resolve, and that shift was the sign that life was preparing to reward him. So let me ask you, have you felt this shift in your own life? Have you noticed that you no longer daydream about success but feel compelled to act toward it? That you no longer wonder if, but instead ask how, and then take the next step? If so, that is not a small thing. That is one of the greatest signs of all. It means you have crossed the line from wishful longing into purposeful living. It means life is readying the reward, because you have proven you will not squander it. Desire may start the journey, but only determination finishes it. When your desires become decisions, when your wishes become will, you can be sure you are close to success. And once that shift has taken place, there is no force on earth that can stop you, because life itself will move to reward the man or woman who is truly determined. One of the most encouraging signs that life is about to reward you is when opportunities suddenly begin to appear. To many, this feels like luck. They say, "I was in the right place at the right time," or they shrug and call it coincidence. But it is not luck, it is not accident, it is the natural result of a prepared mind. Opportunities are all around us, all the time, in abundance. They are like radio waves in the air, invisible, silent, unnoticed, until you tune your receiver to the right frequency. The moment your mind is prepared, the moment your thoughts are focused, the moment your determination has been proven, you suddenly begin to tune into signals that were always there. You begin to see what you never noticed before, not because the opportunities just arrived, but because you have at last trained your mind to recognize them. Think of Russell Conwell's famous story, Acres of Diamonds. A farmer, longing for riches, sold his land and set off across the world in search of treasure. He traveled far, suffered much, and in the end died penniless and defeated. But the man who purchased his farm discovered that it was sitting on one of the richest diamond mines in history. The wealth was there all along, beneath his very feet. The first man could not see it, because his eyes were closed to the opportunities around him. The second man uncovered it, not because the diamonds suddenly appeared, but because he knew how to recognize them. And so it is in our lives. When the inner shift has taken place, when thought has become determination and persistence has proven itself, opportunities begin to show themselves in abundance, not because they are new, but because you are new. Now, why is this so important? Because it explains why two men can live in the same town, work in the same industry, face the same conditions, and yet one rises to great success while the other remains stuck. It is not the town, it is not the industry, it is not the condition, it is the mind. The man without vision and discipline sees only obstacles. The man with vision and discipline sees opportunities everywhere. To one, life is barren. To the other, life is fertile. The difference is not in life but in perception. I have seen this principle at work countless times. A man sets a definite goal and begins to think about it daily. He carries it in his mind, he lives with it, he persists in it. At first, nothing seems to change, but then gradually the world around him begins to shift. He meets someone who offers advice. He notices a chance to improve his work. He sees an opening others overlook. He takes one step, and that step leads to another. Soon he looks back and wonders why he never saw these opportunities before. The answer is simple. They were always there. But only when he prepared his mind could he recognize them. This is the way of life. The law is clear. We become what we think about. Our dominant thoughts shape not only our actions, but our very perception of the world. If you think failure, you see obstacles. If you think success, you see opportunities. And once you begin to see them, It is proof that life is readying its reward. For life does not waste opportunity on the man who cannot see it. But the man who has prepared, who has thought rightly, who has persisted, will suddenly find the world full of them. So let me ask you, have you begun to notice new possibilities? Have doors opened that were once closed? Have ideas come that never occurred to you before? If so, that is no accident. That is one of the clearest signs of all. It means your mind is tuned, your vision aligned, your discipline proven, and now life is placing before you the very opportunities you need to advance. Recognize them, seize them. For once you are prepared, the world will reveal itself as an abundant field of diamonds, waiting only for you to claim them. Another sign that life is preparing to reward you, one that often confuses and discourages people, is the sudden rise of opposition. Just when you begin to make real progress, when the work you've been doing quietly and faithfully starts to show itself, resistance appears. People criticize, friends doubt, strangers mock. Those who once encouraged you now look uneasy, perhaps even resentful. And many interpret this as a warning that they are on the wrong path. But the truth is the opposite. Opposition is not a signal to turn back. It is a sign that you are moving beyond the ordinary, that you are leaving the crowd, that your rise has become noticeable. Think of the crab in a bucket. Alone, a crab could climb its way out. But place several crabs together, and when one begins to climb, the others reach up and pull it back down, not out of malice, but out of instinct. And so it is with people. The moment you begin to rise, your very progress challenges the complacency of others. Your determination exposes their drift. Your courage exposes their conformity. Your discipline exposes their excuses. And instead of asking how they too might rise, they try to pull you back into the bucket where they feel safe. If you do not understand this, you may let their voices stop you. But once you see it for what it is, you will recognize opposition as one of the clearest signs of all. You are climbing out of the bucket, and success is near. Now, why does this happen just before the reward? Because until then, your progress is invisible. No one resists what they cannot see. But when your persistence begins to bear fruit, when opportunities begin to open, when your inner calm shows on the outside, others notice. And their reaction reveals more about them than it does about you. The masses, as I've said before, live by conformity. They do what everyone else does, and they end up as everyone else ends up. When someone breaks from that pattern, it unsettles them. They resist not because you are wrong, but because you are different, and different is uncomfortable. History is filled with this pattern. Innovators, entrepreneurs, writers, leaders, nearly all faced resistance when they were on the verge of success. Their ideas were dismissed, their work criticized, their motives questioned. Yet, had they listened to the voices around them, the very achievements we now celebrate would never have come into existence. Their greatness was not proven by the absence of opposition, but by their persistence through it. They understood that resistance was confirmation they were on the right path, that they had stepped beyond the safety of the crowd and were moving into the rare territory of true achievement. So if you are beginning to face criticism, if those around you are doubting your path, if opposition has grown louder, don't mistake it for failure. Recognize it as a sign. It means you are advancing. It means you have moved far enough to be noticed. It means you are no longer hidden among the crowd, but standing out. And life has always rewarded those who dare to stand out, who persist when others withdraw, who hold steady in the face of resistance. Let me remind you of this: no one ever receives great reward by pleasing everyone. The man who fears opposition will remain in the bucket, safe perhaps, but ordinary. The man who persists despite opposition, who welcomes it as proof that he is progressing, will climb higher, rise further, and claim rewards others never see. So when resistance comes, don't turn back. Don't slow down. Don't let the voices of doubt drown out your vision. Instead, smile at them. For they are telling you something important. They are telling you that you are close. They are telling you that success is near. There is one final sign that life is preparing to reward you, and it may be the most surprising of all. It is not struggle. It is not opportunity. It is not even opposition. It is calm. After the storms of resistance, after the pressures of persistence, After the inner shifts of thought and determination, there comes a quietness, a stillness, a sense of inner peace that cannot be explained outwardly. It is as though you have broken through the turbulence of a storm and suddenly find yourself flying in clear, open sky. The struggle is not gone, the work is not finished, but within yourself there is a certainty, a confidence, a peace that tells you the reward is near. Think of the pilot who climbs through layers of storm clouds. The turbulence is fierce, the rain lashes against the windows, the winds buffet the plane. But the pilot holds steady, persists through the storm, and then suddenly emerges above the clouds. The sun is shining, the air is smooth, the sky stretches out in peace. The storm is still there, but he has risen above it, and so it is with us. When life is about to reward you, after you've endured the hardest resistance, after you've faced the loudest opposition, after you've proven your persistence, a calm comes. A quiet knowing that you are aligned with a worthy ideal, that your thoughts and your actions are in harmony, that your course is true. Now, why is this calm so important? Because it is the surest proof that you are no longer driven by fear or doubt, but by faith and conviction. You are no longer tossed about by moods or circumstances. You are anchored within yourself. And this inner calm is always the prelude to outward reward. It is the sign that the soil has been tilled, the seed has taken root, the growth has begun, and the harvest is only a matter of time. Without this calm, even success can be fleeting, for the man who reaches the summit but still wrestles with fear has not truly won. But the man who finds peace before the reward arrives is already successful, because his victory began within. I have seen this in the lives of students, craftsmen, thinkers, and workers in every field. Before recognition comes, before results are visible, they often speak of a strange certainty, a sense that their work is no longer a struggle but a service. They no longer ask whether it will succeed. They no longer debate whether it is worth it. They simply know, with quiet confidence, that the reward is on its way. That calmness is not apathy. It is not surrender. It is the highest form of strength. It is the strength of a mind aligned with truth, of a man or woman who has done the work, paid the price, and now walks with assurance that cannot be shaken. So let me ask you, have you felt that calm? That quiet conviction that, regardless of outer noise, you are on the right path? If so, recognize it for what it is. It is not chance, it is not imagination. It is one of the clearest signs of all. It means you have passed the tests, endured the trials, overcome the doubts, and aligned your thoughts with your purpose. It means the reward is no longer far off. It is near. And once you experience this calm, you will never again chase success with desperation. You will walk toward it with confidence. Because you will know, deep within, that success is not something you beg for, or grasp at, or wonder about. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And when you have become that person, disciplined, persistent, determined, calm, the reward must come. It cannot be withheld. This inner peace, this quiet assurance, is life's final signal. It tells you that your thoughts, your actions, and your destiny are aligned. And when that happens, success is not a question of if, but when. So now, as we come to the end of this journey, let us look back over the path we have walked together. We began by seeing that life always sends signals when it is preparing to reward us. They are not always pleasant, not always obvious, and not always recognized for what they are. But they are there, just as surely as dawn precedes the sunrise, and if you can learn to recognize them, you will never again mistake progress for failure. You will know that the very things that tempt most people to give up are in fact proof that they are near the summit. We saw first that struggle often intensifies before the breakthrough. The pressure grows heavy, the resistance builds, the obstacles seem insurmountable. Yet this is no accident. It is life's way of strengthening you for what is to come. Just as the bamboo grows unseen beneath the ground before its sudden towering rise, your unseen preparation is making you ready for reward. Then we looked at persistence, at the way life tests us in the final mile to see if we truly desire what we say we desire. And we saw that those who give up in that last stretch lose the very reward that was within reach, while those who persist find that the finish line was closer than they ever imagined. We turn then to the inner world, to the shifts in thought and attitude that precede every outward change. We saw that success begins invisibly, in the way we think, long before it appears in the world around us. When fear loosens its grip, when doubt fades, when wishful longing becomes determined action, that is proof that the reward is not far off. For life always rewards thought before it rewards circumstance. We saw, too, that opportunities which always existed suddenly appear as if out of nowhere when the mind is tuned to the right frequency. They were there all along, like radio waves filling the air, but until the mind is disciplined, they cannot be heard. And once tuned, the world reveals itself as rich in diamonds, waiting only to be claimed. We spoke also of opposition, the criticism, doubt, and resistance that rise just when your progress becomes visible. Many mistake this as a warning to stop, but it is not. It is proof that you are leaving the crowd, that you are no longer hidden, that your rising unsettles those who remain. And finally, we came to the last and perhaps most beautiful sign of all, the calm before reward. That deep inner peace, that quiet conviction that you are aligned with a worthy ideal, that you have persisted, endured, and now stand ready to receive. It is the assurance that success is not a matter of chance, but of law, and that you have fulfilled the conditions. So let me leave you with this affirmation. We become what we think about. Not sometimes, not occasionally, always. If you think defeat, you will live in defeat. If you think persistence, you will live in persistence. If you think calm certainty, the world itself will bring you reasons to feel it. And when your thoughts, your actions, and your persistence align, life itself cannot withhold the reward. The signs you have learned to recognize are not there to discourage you. They are there to reassure you. They are life's way of saying, continue. You are almost there. Now here is my challenge to you. Take the 30-day test. Choose one goal, one thought, one vision. Hold it before your mind every day. Refuse to give space to negative thoughts. When doubt appears, replace it immediately with the image of your goal already achieved. Persist in this for 30 days. Expect resistance, expect struggle, expect moments of weariness. And when they come, remind yourself that they are signs, proof that the reward is near. If you do this faithfully, you will discover what few ever learn, that life is always ready to reward the man or woman who refuses to quit. And as we close, I want to invite you to continue this journey with me, because there is a deeper law, a hidden principle, that explains not just how to recognize the signs of success, but why life rewards persistence at all. It is the principle that separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. In our next time together, I will show you that law. And once you understand it, you will see that success is not mysterious, not reserved for the few, but available to anyone who will apply it. It may be the most important discovery you ever make. So join me there, and let us continue to walk this path together.